Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Monday, December 23rd. It is one of the last Mondays of 2019. We have one more next week. So, welcome to this week's episode of Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia. I'm Cecilia Sapp. I am the principal and founder of Rogue Tulips Consulting. We do general 501c consulting and association management services for 501c organizations. I'm here today with my friend and colleague and co-host, Agnes. Agnes, would you like to say hello?
Thanks, Cecilia. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to our global audience, depending on what part of the world that you're operating from. My name is Agnes Amos Coleman. I'm an author and a consultant with Rogue Tulip. Over to you, Cecilia.
Great, thanks, Agnes. And I appreciate Agnes being here today because she's got a little bit of a cold, and so I appreciate her still being a trooper. So, today we thought it would be great topic to end 2019 and look toward our new year of 2020, which many people are talking about the beginning of a new decade, which frankly I hadn't thought about. It's true, we're starting a new decade, so we want to go back to basics though for our last episode of 2019. And so today's topic is mission, vision, and values. Now, these are all the building blocks of any successful organization, but these are, I think, almost sacred guideposts for nonprofit organizations. And you might say to yourself, wow, that's a pretty strong statement, Cecilia, but I don't think so, because what makes us different as nonprofits is we are mission driven, we're not profit driven. And I know Agnes has some comments and some great insights, as always, on the connections between mission, vision, and values for a successful organization. So I'm going to throw it back over to Agnes.
Thank you, Cecilia. And that's a great introduction, by the way, because that's really why we exist as 501c. And for me, I think the alignment here would come from aligning our mission, vision, and values with the community that we serve, and our community are our members and the stakeholders that make that community. And the other side of that alignment would be aligning it with our content, the content that we deliver. And that content is a products and services that we offer our members. And some of those are those publications, the conferences, the events, the training, the membership activities, the advocacy activities, the sponsorship activities. I mean, all these products and services that make up a 501c community. And the third part is the collaboration, aligning that mission and vision with the collaborations. And the collaborations are what the association and the 501c community needs to meet its strategic goals. So for me, that's what that for me really sums up the mission and vision and values that we as a 501c community stands for, Cecilia.
Well, so Agnes, you and I were talking a little bit in our pre-recording prep about mission and vision and the difference between mission and vision. So, in your opinion, what's really different between mission and vision?
The mission, it's really the set goals of what we want to accomplish. And I see vision as the byproduct of the outcomes. So vision really, I rather we focus on the mission, not so much the vision, because the outcome of that, of the mission would determine whether your vision has been successful. The output, the success would determine your vision. And of course, the values, it's completely the reason why you're there and whether you've been effective for your members or not, or for your community or for your collaboration. So in my mind, that's really the way that it's playing out. Cecilia, you might have a different take on this, but I personally focus on the mission and the values and let the vision speak for itself in the byproducts and the outcome of the deliverables.
Now, that's a really interesting perspective on it. I know we all get set in our ways and our opinions on things. And, I'm a normal human being. Well, normal might be a stretch, but anyway, I am a human being. And so I also get set in my ways. But I've always, I'm actually very similar to you, except for I am not a person who believes vision is a necessity. A vision statement. Now, that a vision statement, we should clarify that. mission statement and vision statement are two very different things. You need to have a vision for your future and where you want to go. And, you know, in a lot of ways, to me, a vision statement is who you want to be when you grow up. It's aspirational, you know. And mission is why you exist. So I've always tried to keep those things, you know, kind of simple and straightforward because I do a lot of strategy work. And so you really have to be clear with that. You know, mission's why you exist and it's what you do. Vision grows from that because you're hoping your mission informs an aspiration, like you were saying. And then the values are actually going to inform how you execute your mission or fulfill your mission, and then what that vision becomes, because your mission is not really going to change all that much. You know, you might change the wording, but the spirit of your mission is always going to be the same. You might modernize the language a little bit or something. Your vision might change though, you know, what your future looks like, because the future is always changing. There's many different outcomes that you could have or see based on what your actions are. You know, I think people who know me know I like to use pop culture references a lot, you know, and there's actually a great line in The Terminator 2. How does The Terminator 2 relate to association management? Well, perhaps maybe if we had an association for the artificial intelligence, they might have liked us better. But that's because we're all talking about artificial intelligence. We integrated the topic of artificial intelligence into the 501c League's ethics course. Because there's a lot of unexplored territory there. It's very much like some scientific experiments that have been done in the past. But anyway, I'm kind of drifting here a little bit. But no, I do think maybe somebody needs to start an association for all the artificial intelligence chatbots out there, since they like to talk to each other, and maybe we can get them networking. You know, maybe we have an AI membership at the league or something. But seriously, in The Terminator 2, there's a great quote. It's called, "There is no fate." It starts with, "The future is not set. There's no fate but what we make." So that's where vision, in my opinion, can change. Because the future isn't set. The future is constantly evolving. There's different futures. There's alternate futures. If you believe in multiverse theory, there's all kinds of futures out there. So that's really, to me, the difference. You know, vision is inspiring, different way than mission. I think they're both inspiring. But these are things, actually, and Agnes, you had a good idea about doing a year-end evaluation of where you are with mission, vision, and values. Would you like to expand on that?
Sure. And let me just go back to what you just said. I totally agree with your take on vision evolving. And that's why I had mentioned that when you look at the mission of the organization will be informed, the vision of the organization will be informed by the mission. So as the organization evolves and produces products and services and strategies and community and content and collaborations, the vision will become clearer as to where they are in the current state and where they're going to evolve to in the future state. So I think that's why I totally agree with where you're coming from there, that evolving phase. Back to the evaluation process, I think this is a perfect time of the year for our 501c community to begin to look at, okay, this is where we've been, you know, over this last 2019, from January to December 2019. Where are the corrective strategies? Where do we want to be? And where are the areas in our community, in our content, in our collaborations that make us as 501c that we want to see some changes? This is a perfect opportunity to do that and build on that in 2020 as they start the year, or as we start the year as 501c community, Cecilia.
What are some of the things, Agnes, that you think an organization should ask itself about? How have we fulfilled our mission? How have we stayed on course with it? I mean, do you have any suggested questions or areas people could look at? Or
I think, Cecilia, I'll relate it back to the community, the content, and collaborations. We really need to look at those key three areas, because the three areas is that where, okay, let's look at our membership and stakeholders. Have we really met our members' needs? They're evolving, their needs are evolving because their organization that they come from are evolving. So what are some of the areas that we need to really look at corrective actions. The content, all the areas of services that we produce, are our publications to our members still relevant? Is it helping them to be relevant in the business environment? Are the conferences and events and training that we're delivering, is it relevant? Is it making any impact in the community that we serve? Are our membership activities, are we just doing the same old, or are we trying to be different? Are our advocacy activities, is it still relevant? So we really need to look at all our content deliverables and start from there. And then the collaborations, what makes our organization, the collaborations that we need to move into the future? Do we have those right collaborations in place, or do we need to build new ones for the coming year? So those are all the areas that we can start from as 501c community, Cecilia.
That's great. Thank you, Agnes. Those are really great points to look at measurements or just evaluate. I mean, there's a difference between evaluating and measuring.
Oh, absolutely.
That,
absolutely.
right? So it's like a metric's not necessarily going to evaluate something.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes an evaluation is subjective, so it leans more toward qualitative. Can't necessarily put a number on like how many times have I fulfilled my mission this year. I guess maybe if you're James Bond, how many missions have you successfully completed on behalf of the Queen? But seriously, another thing, and I think, as we're nearing the end of our time today, one of the other things, building on what you said, Agnes, about collaboration, community, and content, those are all things that help us move our mission forward and support our mission. But I also think we all need to be aware of this on a daily basis, and not evaluations, a couple times a year or once a year. I think a constant reminder of mission, vision, values on a daily basis, integrating it into the mindset of the organization, and especially the strategic plan. Strategic planning has evolved a lot over the last 10 years, which I'm very glad for, because I remember the bad old days when we were doing 5-year plans that weighed 3 pounds that we'd spend 6 months on and then throw in a desk drawer and go back to our regular life. But strategic plans actually should be integrated into the daily life of the organization. And that is your business plan. Your business plan really shouldn't be that different from your strategic plan. The difference between your business plan and strategic plan is that the business plan is going to put in all the tactics that need to be accomplished to support those strategic goals. But your strategic plan is your business plan, and that plan, the strategic plan, is fueled by the mission, because everything in those goals should support your mission. So teach your staff your strategic plan. Make them remember your mission. Teach them to make decisions based on, does this support the strategic plan? If it doesn't support the mission of the organization or a specific strategic goal, then you don't do it.
Agreed.
This will help you develop that focus. So as we wind down this episode of our last episode of 2019, we're so glad we're still here doing this, because we love sharing observations and having guests. And next year we'll be having more guests on our program. So we're looking forward to that. But Agnes, did you have any closing thoughts on mission, vision, and values before we sign off for 2019?
I think you mentioned a great point there about teaching the staff or educating the staff about the mission, vision, and values. And it shouldn't just be a one-time deal. It should be from the moment you walk through the office, when you pick up the phone to speak to a member, you have at the back of your mind that, what I'm sharing or what we're sharing as an organization, consistent and in alignment with our mission and vision. So I think that that's a great way to practically do that when we're speaking to our members, when we're communicating with them, when we're sharing ideas with them, or knowledge sharing. So I think that that's a good way to do that. And in summing up, I mean, of course, for 2019, as we transition to 2020, we here at Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia, our goal is to share ideas, to share knowledge. We're not perfect, but at least we want to hear from you. We definitely want to know what you're thinking within your 501c community, even if there are areas that you think that we need to be addressing that we're not addressing on Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia. Please let us know. If we don't have the knowledge, we'll find the knowledge. Thank you, Cecilia.
That's great. That's a great reminder. Follow us on YouTube. You can find our our playlist and subscribe to that. And you can leave comments if you agree, disagree, or share the suggestions, as Agnes said. So we want to thank you all for being aware of us and our series. And this series developed out of the fact that Agnes and I would have a lot of conversations about association management. And some of those conversations actually inspired Agnes to write her book, Transforming Business Through Godly Governance, which addresses 9 leadership characteristics. It's a great book, and not just because I wrote a nice comment about it. It's a great book. You can get it on Amazon.com exclusively. You can get it in a digital version or a hard copy version. And so I want to thank Agnes, not just for her friendship, but for being a great colleague and for inspiring so many people with her insights. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Cecilia.
We will be back for 2020. We're taking next week off, December 30th. We'll be back Monday, January 6th with our guest, Cathy Pales, who is an executive leadership coach specializing in women leadership issues. And her topic is going to be the keys to professional confidence. Now, these keys to professional confidence are applicable to everybody. So I hope you'll join us. You'll sign in that first week in January. And as Agnes said, let us know what other topics you might want to address. If you want to be a guest, let us know. We love talking with people. So, and for the last time in 2019, we're going to say thanks for joining us. And as we say every week, take 15 minutes and talk with somebody because you might learn something. So happy holidays, everyone. And happy holidays, Agnes.
Thank you, Cecilia. Happy holidays.
Thank you. And we'll see y'all in 2020.